Mama. How did you hear about that? Yes, he's here. It's Mama Joffrey. She sends her regards. Yes, we're having a party to celebrate tonight. Everything's all in hand. Yes, I got him a cake. Joffrey got you a cake. Victoria Sponge, his favourite. Well, really, Mama, we are quite busy. Joffrey has got the canapes to do still, and then... I'm not working him too hard. Mama, he's busy! One moment, Mama. Very quickly, though. Joffrey, laugh at the jokes. Joffrey, that's funny. Yes, Joffrey, you're looking forward to the party, remember? Joffrey, no. Tell her we're full up, full capacity. We couldn't possibly fit anyone else in there. Tell her we thought she was abroad. Joffrey, for Christ's sake. Oh, thank goodness. That was a close one, Joffrey. Give me the phone. All right, Mama. Well, I'll speak to you in the morning. Very good. Bye-bye. That was a close one, Joffrey. Oh, come on, then, Joffrey. Do I have to do everything myself? Joffrey, never mind that. Let's get this open now, shall we? Joffrey, it's not opening! I always get like this after I've spoken with her. And one for yourself, Joffrey. We're celebrating today. Well deserved, Joffrey. Here's to you. I hope you're going to change, Joffrey. Can't be wearing that when the guests arrive. I put out your best tails on the bed. Someone did. Good afternoon and welcome back to Miss P Presents with me, Miss P. Now, today we have a very special episode lined up for you, as not only will I be reviewing my top 10 novels of the 2010s, or the 20-teens, but today we are also celebrating. For just last night, Joffrey won an award at the, what's it called again, Joffrey? Oh yes, the British Academy for Manservants. That's right, he won a Bammy. So we are also hosting a soiree here this evening. Nothing too fancy, just a few close friends, but there is much work to do. What was the award again, Joffrey? Oh yes, most sympathetic manservant in difficult circumstances. What do they mean by difficult? Yes, all right, Joffrey, go and see to the canapes now. Oh, and so without further ado, grab yourself a drink and let's get talking. First up on the list we have The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, published in 2013. Genius strikes again in this astonishing epic novel about loss, belonging, and the question of right and wrong. The novel's protagonist is Theo Decker, a 13-year-old boy whose life is changed forever when his mother is killed in an explosion at New York's Metropolitan Museum.
Everything would have turned out better if she had lived. As it was, she died when I was a kid. And when I lost her, I lost sight of any landmark that might have led me someplace happier.
Disorientated and devastated, Theo retrieves from amongst the rubble Joffrey, fetch the painting. Fabricius's painting, The Goldfinch. A work about which his mother had remarked minutes before her death that anything we manage to save from history is a miracle. The journey of Theo's life that follows is filled with hope, despair, and struggle as he travels from place to place in search of something that feels like a family. Deciding to keep the existence of the Goldfinch a secret, the painting goes with him from New York to Vegas to Manhattan, serving as a dangerous but beautiful reminder of his lovely lost mother. Theo gazes upon it in secret, experiencing feelings of sadness, fear, guilt, and power. It really is so good. Tart is the most incredible storyteller. I absolutely devoured this novel when it first came out, and I expect you will too. Next up, we have An American Marriage by Tayari Jones, published in 2018. This is an absolutely amazing, beautifully written novel about a Black American couple called Celestial and Roy. At the beginning of their marriage, both in the midst of exciting careers and full of love for each other, their idyllic existence is blown apart when Roy is falsely accused of a crime he didn't commit. The effect of this wrong conviction on Roy, Celestial, and their marriage is absolutely devastating, and Jones really makes us feel that pain and that injustice. It's a powerful, moving, gorgeously told story about the forming of a new relationship and the subsequent unravelling of it. Jones takes us through their meeting, their marriage, and the aftermath of this dreadful conviction from the points of view of Roy, Celestial, and their close friend Andre, on whom Celestial becomes increasingly dependent. It's absolutely amazing. You must read this. Next up, we have Hot Milk by Deborah Levy, published in 2016. I loved this book and read it in a matter of days. It's told from the point of view of 25-year-old Sophia, who has travelled to southern Spain with her mother Rose in search of a cure for the latter's mysterious paralysis. Sophia's resentment towards her mother, whose possibly imagined immobility has trapped the young woman into living the life of a carer, bubbles and broils during this hot Spanish summer. Hot Milk is a mesmerising, hypnotic, highly atmospheric novel that really moved me. That sense of time being wasted, of waiting and wondering about a future you could have, about a life you could already have had, is so sad, so honest, and so powerful. I adored this novel and its dry, straight-talking protagonist. Read it and be transported. Next up, we have Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens, published in 2018. This is a beautiful, heartbreaking, coming-of-age story about Kaya Clark, a girl who lives alone amongst nature, wild, unkempt, and solitary. One day, Kaya's lonely but content existence is disrupted when two young men from town become intrigued by her unorthodox beauty and begin to pursue relationships with her. When one of these men is found dead, Kaya becomes the chief suspect on account of her difference. The community distrusts her way of life and immediately becomes suspicious of her secretive nature. What a story! It is utterly compelling. It's an addictive page-turner, very original, but also classic in feeling. I absolutely loved it, and I'm sure you will too. Next up on the list, we have After the Party by Cressida Connolly, published in 2018. This is a gorgeous period novel with a devastating, highly unexpected twist. It tells the story of Phyllis Forrester, a naive young housewife who has just returned to England following years abroad. Moving into her sister Patricia's country estate, Phyllis is welcomed into a world of glamour, politics, and darkness. After years of feeling isolated and alone, Phyllis is thrilled to find friends, family, and community in Sussex. And yet what follows is nothing short of tragic. Thank you, Joffrey. The writing is superb and the subject matter is engrossing. This novel thrilled and shocked me in equal measure. It's inventive, brilliantly researched, and so well executed. Joffrey, I want to try the things for the party. Fetch them here. The pressure of entertaining is just monumental, Joffrey. I mean, the list is endless. You know that, don't you? Go to the dry cleaners. Oh, you've done that. The glassware needs to be polished, and oh, you've done that too. Still, Joffrey, I have to sample the cake, the canapes, the wines. Not very delicate, are they? More salt. No, too much. Too much salt in that one. Joffrey, I know you've just won an award, but you're all over the place. Where are you? It's like I don't even know you this morning. And radish with some sort of cream. This cracker is old, Joffrey. You taste that. That's not a fresh cracker. Apart from that, I like it. Let's see the wines. This is the Italian one. What year is it, Joffrey? Joffrey, I don't mean what year is it now. I mean what year is the wine. We've been through this. My favourite! You're clever, aren't you? Where did I get this for you from, Joffrey? Your guests will love it, Joffrey. Just don't let Petrov have any. Joffrey, what's happened to the cake? I wasn't finished with it yet. And you must keep an eye on the ciphers this evening. Remember this scene from last year, Joffrey? You know what they're like, Joffrey. They just eat and eat and eat. There's nothing for anyone else. I just don't think they appreciate it, really. All this trouble I go to make sure everything's nice. They just eat it all in such a grotesque manner. I've had enough. Next up on the list we have Normal People by Sally Rooney, published in 2018. Already a cult classic, Normal People follows the ever-evolving relationship between Marianne and Connell, two students from the small town of Sligo in Ireland. At school, Marianne is mocked where Connell is celebrated. But when the pair meet again at a university in Dublin, they find themselves cast in roles anew.
I've missed you.
Yeah. Yeah, you too. I was a bit worried when you left school and that. I was pretty down about it.
Well, never hung out much during school hours.
Oh, yeah.
The plot is simple but never uneventful. Rooney's writing is gorgeously contemporary and absolutely unlike anything else. Normal People is so moving, so romantic, so inviting. It's impossible not to gobble it up in a matter of hours. It's definitely one for the ages, not to be missed and never to be forgotten. Clearly an excellent year for publishing. Next up we have The Librarian by Sally Vickers, also published in 2018. This novel is a charming love letter to the power of discovering books as a child. The plot has a still, unremarkable surface, but lingering below are powerful ripples of feeling, intention, and rebellion. It tells the story of Sylvia Blackwell, a young woman recently arrived in the small market town of East Mole. Sylvia is to be the new children's librarian and passionately sets out on a mission to inspire the, at first uninterested, children of the quiet town. As time goes on, Sylvia develops some unlikely friendships, as well as embarking on an affair with a local married GP, Dr. Bell. These relationships, though thrilling and initially rewarding, threaten Sylvia's position and her project to regenerate the library, and eventually some tough decisions have to be made. I absolutely loved this book. Vickers is so good at creating a really strong sense of time, of place, and community. In The Librarian, it's impossible not to feel a part of all of this. It's so evocative and so well written, a hidden gem that I definitely recommend you read. Next up, we have Mothering Sunday by Graham Swift, published in 2016. Currently out in cinemas, Mothering Sunday is a divine tale of passion, duty, and class. At just 132 pages long, it is a short but perfect delight, following the story of 22-year-old Jane Fairchild, a young housemaid who lives and works on the estate belonging to a rich upper-class couple, the Nivens. The novel opens on Mothering Sunday, with Jane wondering how to occupy her time since she has no mother to visit. The Nivens, who lost both their children in the First World War, plan to spend their day with their neighbours, the Sheringhams. A good book looks to be on the cards for Jane until a phone call alters the course of her day and that of both families, the Nivens and the Sheringhams, forever.
Good morning, Beechwood House.
Jay, is that you?
Like a perfectly formed haiku, Mothering Sunday captures so much in so little. It's so beautiful and so moving. Read it and be touched. Next up, we have Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman, published in 2017. Another totally addictive read, Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine tells the story of a young woman who lives her life by a strict timetable. She dresses in the same clothes every day, goes to work in the same office, eats the same meals, and buys the same bottles of vodka every weekend. Eleanor exists, but never really lives. All that changes when she meets Raymond, an IT guy from her office, with whose help she rescues Sammy, an elderly man who the pair encounter out in the road. This novel is laugh out loud funny. Eleanor's behaviour is often surprising and usually strangely endearing. She's a truly special narrative voice with an incredibly moving and uplifting story to tell. Next up, we have Queenie by Candice Carty-Williams, published in 2019. I loved Queenie. I read it in 24 hours and became totally immersed in the humour, the darkness, and the light that radiates from this glorious debut. 25-year-old British-Jamaican Queenie has recently broken up with her long-term partner Tom and feels as though her life is spiralling out of control. Queenie's boss at the Daily Read, a national newspaper, urges her to keep one foot on the ground when two are in the air. But as Queenie's self-worth deteriorates, she finds herself cast adrift, unable to function happily at work, with her family, or within her sexual relationships. I found Queenie's encounters with men particularly powerful and shocking. The extent to which these experiences contributed to her low self-esteem and feeling objectified are devastating. Carty-Williams takes us on such a journey with Queenie and her mental health. Everything is so well considered, so compelling, and so unlike anything else I've ever read. Fresh, funny, and heartbreaking. That was Miss P's Top 10 Novels of the 2010s. Join me next time for more literary delights. Joffrey? Joffrey, what's the time? I must dress. Joffrey, the door. Quick. I'm ready. Thank you so much for watching my channel. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe so you can keep up to date with all things Miss P Presents. See you next time.